Hello, and welcome to our weekly HudUniGames cast. I say weekly, we missed last week, but that was Twitch's fault, not ours. But anyway, we are still coming to you from our home offices, spread across the country. My name is Duke, and today I am joined by Matt, Daryl, and Ash. I didn't forget their names, I just couldn't decide which order to present them in. Let's roll the intro. Roll the intro, and then we'll talk about what we're going to talk about. Cool. Oh, I hit the button just before it faded out. So we are on GamesCast020,
Wow.
which is pretty cool.
Wait, that's a bit insane. What?
Yeah. It's nuts that we've made it to 20, but we have.
If only we had that many viewers.
We do. We've got some viewers. I'm just gonna, and I know we're in live, but I'm going to move you, Daryl, because it's annoying me that your little, you're cropped just wrong. Oops.
Move the whole window.
Yeah, move the whole window. There we go. Okay, so what are we talking about today? Well, first off, let's do what's on the box, because I think that's why everyone's here, is to engage in that process.
Well, actually, I think maybe we just say what we are going to be discussing today.
Okay, go on. Yeah. So, I think we're going to do. Go on, Matt.
The discussion today was going to focus around personal projects and keeping motivated through summer to continue to develop. And we're going to look at some examples of current students that have just graduated, and students that have been graduated a while, and some of the projects that they've been posting. Personal projects they've been posting, and then we'll do a little bit of a discussion on ways in which you can set yourself little tasks and challenges, and make sure that you're continually develop your skills even when you're not actually directly being assessed or working on something.
Absolutely. I think it's one of the biggest problems we have, not problems, but one of the biggest challenges is people staying keeping their skills high, because we finish in, well, Easter usually, don't we? Around Easter time, and we're not back till end of September. It's a good 3 or 4 months of downtime, 5 months even, if depending on the time. And I think that you tend to go backwards if you don't keep up those skills. So people tend to have good intentions, and then they need to get a job or over the summer or a few holidays, and it tends to get left behind. So I think hopefully we can offer some inspiration to get people working on things over the summer. So, what's on the box? Do I have the what's on the box video? I think I do.
What? What you can say?
You tell me. The box. Who's in the box? What's in the box? What's in the box?
Cool.
What an awfully long video.
Does it get longer every week?
Awfully long video.
So as a reminder, Matt, what's on the box?
What's on the box is a little game that we play where we just read the description on the back of a game box, and we have to try and guess what the game is, only based on the description alone.
So, who's first this week? I'm not sure.
Not me.
Oh, it's me. No, I'm first. The problem was I made this last week, so it's entirely possible I would read the text and not know what game it is myself. But fingers crossed.
I've forgotten which mine is as well. I was just thinking the same thing.
So, you ready? Oh,
I might hide the chat so that I don't cheat, because the last few weeks I've basically just read directly in the chat.
Good call.
Yeah.
Hide the chat.
Okay, you ready?
For this.
You ready?
Yep. Have we all hidden the chat?
Play your favourite sports without leaving. You know what I mean? Your living room.
Well, you texted a picture of this the other day, I think.
Is this Wii Sports?
Did I send you a picture? What did I send you a picture of?
You
said it was still fun. Yeah.
Yeah, you did actually play it with Zeph the other day.
Yeah, but completely unrelated to this. In fact, I hope it is Wii Sports now. Or Wii Fit.
Then. Right.
I'm intrigued now. We should probably find out. It was okay. Wii Sports.
Track and field.
Yeah. I'd forgotten that. Yes, so that was totally unrelated because it was just that I plugged the Wii in for a different reason, and had an urge to play Wii Sports, which I must say is still fun. In fact, Zeph was playing this morning, bowling and golf. I think she said, and tennis. So yeah, how old is the Wii?
The game's probably great. No, ages.
2005.
5 is it?
13,
Yeah, it must be. And it's still awesome. I mean, I'm playing it through a component lead, so it's hardly HD, but still pretty awesome.
It's
okay, anyway,
it drives me mad though. Great game, just annoying music.
I can't remember it. I'll pay attention next time.
Playing it recently.
I know, but I don't pay attention. It's just part of it. What's on Matt's box? Are you ready, Matt?
Go on then. Let's have see if I can remember what I put on this one. So, gather around, hunters. Every 10 years, elder dragons cross the sea, heading for a distant new world. Now it's your turn to discover this mysterious land. An epic journey awaits. A living, breathing world. Incredible action and depth. Better together.
I don't know if it's going to be like Dragon Age Origins or more Monster Hunter-y.
I was thinking Monster Hunter-y.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not Dragon Age Origins because I've played that and I don't recognise that.
There's co-op though, isn't it? I think. I could be wrong. Yeah, I would suggest Monster Hunter.
I'm going Monster Hunter. I've not played it.
Okay.
But that's where I'm seeing. What's the chat say?
Should we
check chat first?
How to Train Your Dragons, the video game. I haven't got a clue.
Monster
Chat got
Hunter.
It. Yeah. It's Monster Hunter World.
Oh, if Mincy was here, he'd have got it straight away, wouldn't he?
He's a bit obsessed with that.
Yeah.
Have any of you played it?
If Mincy was here.
I've not
played it. It's not my sort of thing.
Oh, hang on.
No, I got really into it for quite a while, but then I got sort of tired out by the top level sort of micro management of all of your stats and stuff like that. I was like, it was fun when I was just going around discovering new monsters, and then I was like, I'm fed up of killing the same monster over and over again now.
But people love a grinding game like WoW and this, just feeling the grind.
I don't like grinding games.
No, I'm more of a. I enjoyed the exploration bit, and then when it got to the grind, that's when it lost me a bit there. Yeah. But that initial part of the game was really fun.
Muzzy in the chat said he was playing some last night. Iceborne is a good expansion apparently. Oh, and tomorrow they release a new monster. Zerimar. Hope I pronounced that right. Says tomorrow they release a new monster. So onwards, Daryl's box.
I've only just remembered what it was. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. That's good. Oh, well, that's quite a lot.
It is quite a lot. This is a trimmed down version. You are X, and again we've got another of those things where it's just kind of went, oh god, I'm going to use this anyway. But it's just got loads of stuff in it that so you are X. You are assigned covert operations connected with the X weapons satellite. X will brief you on this X, Y, and Z. On your mission and objectives from London. X will support your efforts with a plentiful supply of weapons and gadgets. X offers you light-hearted best wishes, and you're off. Your mission begins in the heavily guarded chemical warfare facility of, I can't pronounce that, dam in the USSR. Look and shoot in any direction as you navigate 12 interactive 3D environments. Use stealth and force as you see fit. In matters of international security, consider the military personnel expendable. Matt's got a grin on his face. I think he already knows what it is.
No, actually, I can't actually work out what this is.
Oh.
What I wondered was, when it says look and shoot in any direction, does that not suggest VR? Because why would you say look and shoot in any direction? Every game can do this. Because
this could be early 3D. This could be when they first introduced 3D. So this could be something like I was thinking this could be something like Wolfenstein.
Yeah,
it's definitely VR early because it's 12 unique environments, and they're sort of selling that.
Because Doom, you couldn't look up and down, could you? Doom was just left and right.
Yeah.
So maybe this was the one after Doom, which would have been Quake, I think.
But obviously,
early Quake. Hang on, Quake didn't Quake have a single player mission?
Did it? If it did,
campaign
it was just
mission.
Kill your bots and then move on to the next level.
You pronounce that Balamori? No, actually, no, there we go. Anyway, yeah, I don't see it. Quake somewhere in the USSR, apparently, according to Duke. But
Oh, I mean, like something around that era.
Or it could be something like Commanding. No,
I don't think it's Commanding.
I can't believe I stumbled.
The fact that you can look and shoot in any direction.
This works a lot better when we've got the chat turned off. I've just discovered. Right.
Yeah.
What about? Well, no, actually, really, I've just looked at the chat.
Let me have a look at chat.
No, I just loaded it.
No one in chat knows either.
Is this?
Believe this?
It also reads a bit like the last Starpoint. The 12 interactive. The look and shoot in any direction.
I got away with it. I can't get away with it. Would it help you if I tell you that the person that gives you the weapons and gadgets is an X, but actually it's a different letter entirely?
Oh wait,
it's not James Bond, is it?
First interact. Is this like?
It's not GoldenEye.
GoldenEye. So first interactive.
I had to give you clues there, right? I had to give you clues. Go on,
so it's yeah. Wow.
That was difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
that was a good
threw
one.
me with it. The description does not read like the description for GoldenEye.
No.
Well, that took off the last line entirely. It says
what was the last line?
License to kill.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Well, that's cheating.
I don't care. You have an X to X is what it would have said otherwise, so I wouldn't leave that there.
Okay, so, and then finally, what's on Ash's box?
Yeah, I've been away a while, and I think I probably made it too easy. But a group of high school students are out to reform Tokyo society. Troubled by the deception and hypocrisy all around them, these X will steal into the hearts of people and confront the problems from inside.
I'm a big fan of hypocrisy.
I was going to say, is hypocrisy a bit like hypocrisy?
But just hyped to the max.
It's got the same letters in.
Let's just invent new pronunciation. Live. Let's do a Twitch stream. Pronounce these words.
Ash tries to read.
I don't know, actually.
I don't know. This seems like probably
Tokyo Drift.
I saw in. Yeah, I saw in the chat, and I'm probably going to have to go on the chat. But Persona, and I'm like,
Okie dokie, Literature Club. I've no idea.
I've never played any of them, so I don't know.
So that would be a good game, Daryl. Yeah, weirdly, someone mentioned it before we even started the stream in chat. So,
Persona 5 Royal.
And Josh
He's
says,
not
I should have been
royal,
playing Persona 4 all week.
Oh, yes, I have. I've been busy working too.
All right.
Yeah.
So that's why you put it on, is that you've been playing it recently.
Yeah.
5 I played when it came out. I've just been playing 4 because it's just come back out on the PC. Played the original one, but not the golden one. So.
Are they really that good? Because I've heard a lot of good things, but I've never played any of them.
Yeah, the story's great. You get sort of free time to do what you want to, but you've got to sort of micromanage everything in order to get the sort of best results. And then just classic JRPG fighting. So imagine Pokemon, but in a high school.
Oh, you've sold it there. Imagine Pokemon, but instead of battling monsters, you're back at battling kids.
As soon as you said imagine Pokemon, that was it.
It's set in. Never mind, let's move on.
Okay. So, first thing to discuss before we look at work is a reminder that the Steam sale is now on.
If you didn't already know,
if you didn't already know,
all of your money already.
Yeah, last week it was new information. This week it's old information.
If you've been living under a rock for the past week.
Yeah. So we did 75% on all the canal side games. So if you're interested in any of those, now's the chance, or your chance. And also I mentioned that Mirror's Tale is there. So if you want to join in with the free demo, I think that's still active. So you can start playing that, and giving feedback
I think
to the
they've got a
student.
Discord open as well to give feedback into as well.
Yeah, there's a feedback Discord, which is really good. So
I think for £1, if you've got a VR headset, Little Awesome Dudes for £1, it's a very good buy.
Flux 8 as well for £1. If you want to play the PC version before buying the Switch version.
I played the Switch, actually. It's really good.
I
didn't know what to expect, but I've had pretty good fun with it.
I think it works really well on that, because the controls on that little screen and everything, and the little tiny thumbs either side of it, I don't know, it just works really well, I think. Flux fits.
Cause a few arguments in co-op, but
Yeah.
still fun.
Yeah.
Oh, did you actually play it in co-op?
Try to. Andrew's not the best gamer.
Oh, wow,
So-
that's good. Because you can actually play the co-op single player, just where you switch between the magnets. It's possible to do that. Play both roles. But yeah, no, actual co-op. I've not actually played it that way.
I've not tried it. I have the same problem Ash does. Jen is not able to play games. I'll have to teach one of the kids one, I think. Why did he put this Dead Winter in?
So this was just because the discussion is around personal projects and keeping on top of doing new work, essentially, either after graduation, because we've got a lot of students that are just graduating now and will be looking for that first job, but we can't stress how important it is to continue to build out that portfolio. Like your very first initial applications for jobs might not be successful, but that doesn't mean that the next bit of work that you do won't be the one that gets you that interview, gets you noticed. And because of that, we thought we'd show some work that students have done in the past. And one of them was Rob's, that we thought would be a good shout out, because he's just finished his Kickstarter and he's moving on to some building out his studio, because one of the second reasons I wanted to talk about sort of student work is sort of to reinforce that we do keep a track of what people are doing, and we try and follow them on their ArtStation or LinkedIn or Instagram or whatever it is that particular student uses as their output. So we try and keep track of it all. It's quite difficult as we go through the years, but Rob's a good example of going on after graduation to continue working on his personal project that ended up being hopefully really good to play. I'm looking forward to it. I backed the Kickstarter, so hopefully it'll be fun at the back end of it.
Did we all? No, I backed it. Didn't all four of us back his Kickstarter?
Yeah, I backed it
we all
too.
did. So we all backed that one. I switched to the other
we're
screen.
we're all waiting patiently for.
Yeah. So if you're watching this, Rob, come on, pull your finger out.
Yeah,
we
want to play it.
Yeah, we have his website here. So I get the updates every so often. I can't remember the last one. He was employing some more people, I think. Was that the last?
Yeah,
He
just got a new office and a whole load of new artists that have come on board. So so this is it for anyone that's watching this that hasn't already heard us talk about this Dead Winter before. It's a really good, nice project that Rob started as a little final year piece, and then has gone on to continue working on it after graduation. And we wish him all the best of luck trying to get it finished and as polished as it looks like it's going to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
So go and check it out if you haven't seen that already.
So after that, go on.
So this is where we start talking about personal projects and how important they are. So the first one we're going to show is actually a couple of students that are still in the university. So these are the first one is Brad, and the second one is going to be Chris, and they're two of our students that are working in Canalside right now. And they're working on a couple of little personal projects just to in their spare time, in the evenings and weekends, just to develop their skill set. And this is really important for students to continue to do. And we can't stress how vital it is to learning, because you can, every time you move on to a new project, every time you finish a piece, you learn something from it that you can take on to the next piece. So instead of just saying, okay, well, I'm only going to do my university stuff and then it's summer kicks in, so I'm going to have a break for however many months it is you need to be setting yourself another goal, another thing to learn so that you can develop. And Brad's a nice little example of, he's working on Mira's Tale, which is a very cartoony, stylized piece. So all the environmental assets that he's making are very stylized, hand painted sort of affair. And he's doing a personal project which is more on the realism side, trying to look at materials and lighting and foliage and getting that sort of material definition across. So it's important to look at these. So as we go through these, there are just a couple of shout outs to give you some inspiration.
It's very, just looking at this one, it's quite, maybe it's just the foliage, and this texture here, but it looks quite painterly, as in it's a painting of a real place rather than a rendering of a real place. Does that make sense? It was just my eyes. Does that make sense?
I think the colours are quite pastel colours as well. It's very sort of desaturated tone to it.
It's not the same in every one.
Well.
It's just in the odd one like this one that just, I don't know. Anyway, it's very nice though.
I do love the fact that he's experimenting and doing these new sort of pieces just to practice, just to improve. If you look at his art station, one thing that is always both nice to see and frustrating at the same time, though, is that he's removed all of his older pieces from ArtStation. Because obviously this is his latest piece, the one that he's proud of. It would be quite nice to have a history of that stuff, though. So whether it's an Instagram or a whatever, just to show that development, show that you've improved, each new piece that you've done, you've developed as an artist.
Yeah, I think until you start getting like 5 main good focal pieces that are all sort of matching in quality, that's then when you start to remove your old stuff. Otherwise, you can't really see progression.
I do. He does have an art station, thankfully, which he's got some of the older stuff on.
Instagramming.
Instagram, sorry. Yeah, so you can see you can see these older pieces that he's been working on, and this is what I suggest actually now for any artist is to have some multiple ventures of where you can post your work. So whether it's Twitter, whether it's Instagram, have your main portfolio, whether it's ArtStation or a personal one, and then have a second place that you can post work and get people to repost it and things like that. So Instagram is just a nice, easy one because as an artist, it's a visual medium. So
yeah, I think social is really important. The more obviously you get out there, the more sort of following you get, and then your name sort of, it's almost like PR, but on social media. And then if you ever apply for a job, like, oh, I've seen this person quite a few times. So it gives you a bit more notoriety when applying.
And I think a nice history, like you can see here as we're scrolling through Brad's older posts, it's really good to just see his development and how he's experimented with new things over time. I think either an Instagram post or a blog or something that gives, if an employer is searching and looking at an individual, they want to explore a little bit more. They want to research into that person.
Not just see one piece of work, because it doesn't, as you say, a single piece of work doesn't tell you a lot about that. But it tells you they're very good at that piece of work, but no more about their development or if they can do other styles or anything like that.
Yeah. So I think a well-filtered portfolio says a lot because you've deliberately chosen the pieces that you want in your portfolio. But I think then another venue where you can post everything, and so you can go and have a look at what you actually removed from that portfolio. So you can actually see, do you have a good eye for the best pieces or not? Otherwise, it just looks like you've only done one piece.
Yeah.
So and obviously linking each. So if you have an ArtStation as your main portfolio, make sure you've got a link to an Instagram there. And then on your Instagram, link to your ArtStation. So people see your stuff on Instagram. That's kind of cool. Click on ArtStation, and then you've got your main big focal art pieces.
So I think Chris is doing.
Chris is next on our list.
So he's another one of our students in Canal Side who is obviously working on Mira, so he's very stylized. And obviously Duke's drawn to the camera.
Yeah, straight into the camera.
But he's working on a couple of personal projects again, just practicing materials, practicing sort of that more realistic texturing approach and realistic modeling, not just the super stylized stuff. So again, great to see personal projects.
He's another with a Instagram.
Yeah, and I quite like here where he's posting on Instagram, the individual props are being posted on Instagram, but on ArtStation is where the full final pieces are being posted, which I thought was quite a nice way of doing it.
And this has older content. Go on, sorry.
Like I say, Duke can probably critique that camera that it's not perfectly accurate in some way.
There were flaws, but I wasn't. They're not not flaws in the modeling and texturing, more in the.
I wouldn't buy it.
Reference to the camera. I had one very similar. I didn't have a TL, but I had a Canon A one, I think, which is similar. So I might still have it somewhere. But this, I think, as you were saying before, though, Matt, the ArtStation for Chris just has those two things on, but the Instagram is going through all the way back. I mean, I think this is Studio 2. This looks like Studio 2 submission, I think.
But if it's in second year.
So it's at least a year old.
It's surprising how many different models and scenes he's managed to create in just 2 years. I suppose it's 3 years now, isn't it? But
Don't forget, Chris is a machine. As we were saying earlier.
But this is, I think, again, just to reiterate, this is sort of to encourage every student that is watching every first year, every second year, to continue to do personal projects on the side. They are vital in an artist development, because sometimes you start a university project and it's actually the best thing ever, but the thing that actually excites you more and actually makes you want to actually complete these things is sometimes the little random things that you start. So you might see a concept just scrolling through ArtStation, you go, oh, that's cool, and then you go, actually, I'm going to make that in 3D or whatever it might be. And those little side projects can sometimes be the ones that get you noticed, because it might be something like a fan piece, as you might want to do a recreation of your favorite character, or you might see, like I saw recently, an artist that did a concept for Geralt from The Witcher, but set in the Cyberpunk 2077 universe. And I thought, oh, that'd be really cool to model. So it might be just something like that you see an alternate version of something, and you're like, I'm going to do that. And those things are the ones that get you noticed, especially if you have it on social media and you can post it around and get those likes and going on.
Cool. So next.
So that was next up. So that was the students that are currently here. They were our ones that are in our placement year. And I want to sort of have a look at what happens once you graduate. And do you continually develop as the years go on? So Max is a really good example of a student that was very good. So if we just go back to his full page there.
Oh, sorry. Using on to his good.
You've got the University Demo Reel characters there. That one. Yeah. That's something that he did in his final year at uni, and it's good, but you can see it's got some of the flaws in it. But as he's continually he's left university and he's continued to develop his portfolio, he's starting to branch out. He's doing more detailed pieces. Even this dragon, which I think is based off something he did at uni, but it wasn't posed and to this sort of quality standard of ready, almost like it's ready for a 3D print. There you go, 3D print version, as she says on the right. So, and then you've got things like the T-Rex and the sort of the warriors that he's been doing. And again, we keep track of, he's been posting a lot, not on Instagram, but he's actually been posting a lot on LinkedIn. So Daryl has been, I myself have been following his progress over there. and amazed at how much he continues to improve. And I think that's the key thing we want to get across, is that you don't just leave uni and then that's it. You continually develop and get better, and as you leave uni, you're putting that portfolio together to get that graduate position, that junior artist role. But as you develop your skill and your specialism, is that you want to move on to different roles and move up that field and start demonstrating that you're an artist in your own right. So this is really awesome, isn't it?
I really like how his portfolio is, obviously he's got a sort of passion for having these fantasy creatures, but then he's branched out into other areas as well. So we've got a couple of weapons and sort of fantasy characters, so it's still within the realms of what he's interested in, but he's showcased his skills in sort of other areas. So very nice.
T-Rex is amazing. He does have an Instagram. We were talking about Max, weren't we? Yeah. So yeah, there is an Instagram with some of this stuff on, particularly.
Yeah, you can see a little bit more of his work in progress as well on here.
Close-ups of things. There's his dragon. It's amazing stuff. Just gonna look at the this one, the orc thingy. Does he have a? Or is it just the one shot? Cool. So, who was next? Jack.
So so this one is an interesting one, because we were just talking about the importance of social media. And actually yesterday or the day before, I noticed that 80 Level had regrammed his Instagram post of this and actually linked through to his art station from it. So he had several thousand views directly from 80 Level. So again, another personal project. I think some of you might have seen this posted in the Discord. Jack was posting this a couple of weeks ago, that he just finished another character piece, and you were giving some tweaks and some feedback on there. But
I enjoy his description. Just says, "Please give me job."
Oh yeah. Well,
but
has he still not got a job? I find that really hard to believe. I mean, he's so good.
If we just compare the Jack that's doing these characters, and if you look at his portfolio is ridiculous now on ArtStation. The one in the middle, I really love that piece.
There's such a lot of detail in that piece.
Like that one, The Apprentice.
So good.
That's one he did just after graduation. I think that was his first character after he graduated. I love it. The amount of detail and the color choice and the expressions are great.
Just little details like the fact that the nail curves back just a slight bit and just gives that extra sort of hint of flex in that fingertip. It's just so nice. But yeah, it's beautifully composed and the color balance is superb.
Broke up the symmetry nicely as well.
Again, this is just to reinforce the importance of continually to develop your skills and develop your portfolio, because if I just look back at a second year Jack versus a final year Jack and versus a graduate Jack, is that there is night and day differences between.
As a Tekken fan, all sorts of random things went through my head when you talked about the different versions of Jack there, but we'll leave that.
I do love how he's progressed, and this is another thing that we want to keep track of, where our graduates are going, what they're working on. I just love look at that presentation and just like the texture sheets there, so nicely color coded, beautiful sculptural renders. But part and parcel of that development is all about improving iteratively. So his new piece, which he's done, which was the sort of blue. I don't even know what did he call it?
As
Blue
your
Oni?
Blue
I
Oni.
think.
Blue
Yeah.
Blue Oni. That's a completely new style. Again, you can see each one. It's all of his characters are very hand painted, stylized characters, but they all have a slightly different artistic aesthetic, which is another thing to show.
I'd like him to try to tackle a male character. He can do them, so I'd just like him to sort of diversify into a male character at some point as well. There's a lot of females that's in one line there, whereas the image at the top of the screen, I assume is a male character, but it's not really going anywhere, does it?
Yeah. Anyway, so next on our list is Matt. Not your Matt. Other Matt.
Helpful. Thanks for that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Matt Throup, not our own Matt.
So I saw this character, this little Lego character. This is something Matt Throup did just after graduation. I think it was for an art test. But Daryl saw this for the first time last week, and you loved it, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Still do. It's great. It's lovely. It's I don't know. It's just a great concept as well. I mean, they probably provided with the concept, but I've got to guess. But just the execution of it is really solid. It's proportioned well. It's the posing's very, very strong. The lighting and texturing is terrific as well. So, he always had promise in final year, but I think this is possibly my favourite piece that he's ever created.
Yeah.
It couldn't work in real life, could it?
Why not?
I mean, the fleck, the bends. It's posed like a real one, not posed like a Lego figure. It's still really cool. Well, there's only those wireframes and then that one render.
But it's posed as Telltale would do their Lego games.
Yeah.
So
I like
it's a good way of taking something.
Broken Lego terrain that it's running on as well, keeping the Lego theme going. It's very cool.
But the idea of just, as Daryl said then, is that Matt showed a huge amount of potential in final year, but it's that first piece he did after graduation that just you've put it all together now. You've put your understanding of composition and sort of character traits all together to actually do a really nice final piece that demonstrates it. And sometimes that is the case. You can show huge amount of potential in every area in your final year. You can do really well and come out with the first, but it's that first piece you do where you put it all together that starts to really demonstrate you as an individual.
Yeah, and he's just picked up a job at Thumb, hasn't he, with Oscar Mullen? So
last I heard, on LinkedIn, saw that he got that there.
Cool. Next is this one.
Yeah, so Peter's done really well recently. He's been submitting work to the rookies competition. Oh, it says there on screen. In fact, there we go. So he's been sort of seeing bits and pieces of his pop up on LinkedIn over the last few weeks, and he's been getting a lot of solid feedback and comments from the rookies too.
Yeah,
got the rookies page here.
Yeah, I reached out to him on ArtStation last week just to say how impressive his progression since graduation has been, and it's great to see that
he's gone leaps and bounds, hasn't
he? Yeah, he's continued to develop, because sometimes that's I don't know about you or you guys, but sometimes my fear is that without that pressure of assignments and deadlines and university, is that some people kind of drift off and stop doing work and stop doing new pieces.
I think a lot of the time what you see is that people that get work in industry, the job's tough for them, and they don't have a lot of free time, so they don't tend to work on those personal pieces, and they restricted by NDAs as to what they can put into a portfolio. So we do see a lot of grads that although they were fantastic at undergrad level, you don't really see anything from them for years at a time. So yeah, this is really nice to see that he's continuing to work on personal projects.
Yeah, and actually getting better. And he told me on ArtStation to keep an eye out on his next piece that he's working on because it's going to be even better. So I'm quite excited to see what he does there.
Modest to a fault.
Yeah, it's good. But that is the thing though, is that if you are that aspiring artist, that's a really nice way of showing wireframe clay render. I've not seen that with the little slider before. That's cool.
Just on this rookies. I don't know what's driving it.
But yeah, I was saying is that any aspiring artist will look at their previous pieces and go, I can do better. And I think that's, if you look at the very first ones we showed with Chris and Brad, that's probably what they're doing, is they're looking at their final pieces and going, but those older ones are nowhere good as what I can do now. Get rid of them. But sometimes it's part of that development process is to show that.
Yeah. So one more, I think, or couple more maybe. We're on to Rumen Petrov next.
So Rumen is an old graduate now. He was
He was in my year, I think.
He was my very first year of teaching. If I go all the way back, he was one of my very first students, and one of the first to graduate that I taught.
Muzzy said he was same year as him, which is
and Muzzy say in my year.
If you can put a year to that year, that'd be really useful because it's completely left us now.
Yeah,
I think when I came back for my final year, I think I met him then. Actually,
he was creating loads of Dota style pieces whilst he was. I say it's 5 years ago, apparently, 2015.
Yeah,
I've seen it. Yeah, he's creating Dota pieces for his final year portfolio. So there's some really solid work created even then. But he's been working in industry for most of the last 5 years. He got a job very rapidly out of university, so he's doing really fantastic work now.
But
again, he's in Spain now, isn't he?
Yeah, that's what it says. So he's working at. I think Muzzy just says he's working at Social Point, which I think is in Barcelona.
Yeah.
It's really nice. We've been following him, his career path as he goes through, and posts it on ArtStation and Instagram. And when I was on Facebook, I saw quite a bit of his posts on Facebook and things like that. But it's great to see him developing. He's starting to get his own personal style, which is really good. He's sort of like it's influenced quite heavily from sort of your WoW sort of heritage and your Dota sort of characters, but he's putting his own spin on it, and sort of you can see here this with this piece. Really good sort of balance between that stylistic hand painting nature and then the sort of game readiness of it as well.
That's beautiful. I hadn't zoomed in on that. I hadn't seen the eyes. It's just terrific.
I remember his UV islands were always like the best UVs packing I've ever seen.
See, that's weird that's something that stuck in your head about him, that he did great UV packing. Now, how many of our first years will actually admit that they like UV in? Very few of them, but it's so important. It sets you up to be able to do texturing like this. If you have good UVs, it's so much easier to do hand-painted stuff.
In fact, Muzzy's just said he remembers the UV islands for his dragon. I think that's the one I saw. Yeah.
Yeah, but Scott says I have a plugin that packs for me.
Yeah, but probably not very well.
Yeah.
It's probably usable.
Yeah, Scott uses Blender. It probably is awesome. We just never see it.
That is true. If it's a Blender plugin, it's probably not bad.
And then I think we're coming to the end of this bit.
Yeah, because basically that we just wanted to show a few to get you sort of inspired to think of personal projects, and actually a little bit of a shout out to some of those past grads that we've lost touch with maybe over the last few years, sort of like they say Rumen and Muzzy 2015, and there's those before him that we might not have seen in a while. Is give us a shout out and let us have a look at what you've been working on lately.
Because it's so good to see.
Yeah,
it really is.
That is one of the highlights of this role, this job, is to see a student go through from first year where they know nothing to final year where they're really starting to demonstrate their own style and expertise. But that's only the beginning of their journey, which is the exciting bit.
One of the things we've been discussing recently as well is the fact that obviously we're going to be working at a distance probably for the next academic year. We're going to continue doing the vlog on a Wednesday. It'd be really nice to actually get grads involved, sort of started doing sort of like this sort of typical guest lecture we would have done if we were on campus. Actually get you involved in showing off what you're doing, talking about what your experiences have been post graduation, and giving something back to the course. That'd be really, really special, I think.
Yeah. So, like Muzzy, you've been joining us for the last couple of weeks. How about getting on here and having a chat?
I think there's quite a few.
To put him on the spot.
We've got no Gary. Yeah, we've got no Gary this week. We have got Marcus, haven't we? So yeah.
Marcus popped
more
in.
the merrier. It'd be really nice to start doing that. If we just got one person on every week or every other week, it'd be
Be interesting to get Marcus on actually, because he could talk about running his own business for a while. I know he's not running it now; he's moved on to something else. But just to talk a little bit about the experience of that could be interesting.
Yes. Marcus is at Firesprite, I believe. Is that right, Marcus?
He said he's NDA'd at the minute.
Well, he could at least admit where he's working, I think.
But he could come and talk possibly about what he did before we shut his shade, couldn't he, and things like that. So some of the experiences there, maybe. Anyway, well, anybody who's interested, feel free to get in touch. I just loaded up this website on the challenges that are on ArtStation right now. So there's 6 of them. Now the deadlines are pretty soon. So what date is it today? 8th. So it's next Monday, isn't it? Some of these. 13th
so I posted this. But this is just an idea. We put a little slide together of things to do over the summer. Essentially, is that the number one is find an art competition or a game dev competition or a game jam or something to keep you motivated to do something. So these ones here on ArtStation are coming to an end right now. So in reality, if you're looking at starting now, you're probably not going to get it done to in the next week, essentially. But there's no reason why you can't just take the brief, and that is your challenge over the summer, is to do that brief as a personal challenge. As Dan's saying is that so Scott's saying Game Maker's Toolkit Jam is in a few days. So if you're more of a game dev sort of person instead of more direct art, if you want to do some game development, maybe have a look at that.
We've also got the 11-second club, which I know Daryl was a big fan.
Well, we get the occasional animator, don't we? And we had Alex Chan this year, and every year we get 1 or 2 people that are really keen on animation. And I think particularly if you're a second year that's just finished the character animation module and you head into final year, that's actually what you want to specialize in. A competition is always useful, and I don't think there are any better competitions than this. It's been running since the 10-second club, probably 18 years now, something like that. It is a bit ridiculous, but certainly the 11-second club's been running for at least about 10 years now. It's absolutely worth having a go at, and it's a lot of fun as well. Particularly if you get that feedback and you sort of see where you come into competition. I think a lot of my students over the years have been pleasantly surprised as to how highly they're placed. Never the first place yet, I don't think.
In second year now, who just finished, Josh is probably a good example. He showed a lot of potential.
Josh was
in animation.
He's actually watching, isn't he? Don't say that. He was rubbish. Never get his head out the door.
So having a look at 11-second club might be quite fun over the summer. Just take yourself a little, do one of the competitions that they run. Some other ideas. We are to set yourself some group challenges between yourselves. Me and Matt McIntosh used to run a sculpting challenge where we would set ourselves a set period of time. So it would be, let's say it's half an hour, and you would start sculpting for a half an hour, and then you'd pass it over to the other person, and then they would sculpt for half an hour, and then they would pass it back. Little fun collaborative projects are really fun like that. Or let's say you're have a friend who is a completely different skill set. So maybe one of you is a concept artist or a good 2D artist, and then someone's a really good 3D artist. Maybe someone do a concept for someone to make into 3D, or vice versa. There might be, or someone's an animator, someone make a character for someone to sort of animate. There's lots of different things you could do if you just work together.
We've already said this a few times whilst we've been doing these vlogs on a Wednesday, that realistically you can preempt any of the modules you've got coming up next year as well. And one of the things you could do if what we've just been saying doesn't really appeal that much, you can sort of formulate ideas for finally a team project and start working on sort of concepts for the art style and sort of like doing a little art test. Particularly, we let you work as the teams that you decide you want to work in. So as long as there are sort of like 6 or 7 people that want to work together, then there shouldn't really be too many issues initially with that. You all need to work in a unified art style, so actually starting to tackle those problems might be a very good use of your time right now as well.
I agree.
Finished.
Obviously, weirdly, the studio that are coming in next year, the artists in that new team are planning on doing some stuff over the summer to try and bring their art styles into line practicing with each other's art styles and seeing where they can adapt and find an art style that works for the whole team. So yeah, doing that, working with other people for team project. Entering game jams as small teams. There's a few people mentioned that they're doing game jams over the summer, like the one that Scott mentioned, the Game Maker's Toolkit. There are other ones on there. I don't know when the Epic Global Game Jam is, the next one, but there's lots of opportunities, I think, to work together. Is there anything else we want to mention, or should we just go to the final slide, or a reminder of, as long as you remember HudUniGames, you should be able to find us. Website, Twitch, YouTube, Twitter. Yeah, Twitter. We should put the Twitter one on there now. Seems we're reusing it again. Anything else, or are we done?
Nothing to add from me.
Okay, cool.
No, I think just to reiterate, if you is to continue to work on stuff, and if you are a grad that we haven't spoken to a while, reach out on any of the platforms you saw, or even just give us a message. I know that Daryl has a lot of you on Facebook still.
But obviously, Gameo's not going. I used to see a lot of people at Gameo, but we're all locked down, so that's not happening, is it?
Yeah. So, cool. It's been good to have a quick chat and see you all, and hopefully we'll see you all next week.
Cool. See you all.
Goodbye.
Bye.